Hello, Nike Okeke here. As I promised in my last video, I'm going to start sharing my story with you. If you would like to read the full journey, the true life story, the lesson that I learned, and how it can help readers like you, please get a copy of Unbroken, Coma to Conqueror online. Now let's get right into it. First, let me give you a little background. We are a family of 5, my husband, myself, and our 3 children. We live in a small town of about, say, 4,000 people. In 2022, my husband was working far away, about a 9-hour drive from home. He only came back once or twice a month, staying for a few days before heading out again. I worked as a registered nurse, just 5 minutes from home. Our children were on school break and we had just come back from holidays, so they were home. I had gone to work that morning, July 22nd, 2022, and they were expecting me. I expected to be back by 3:30, same day. I don't remember this part, but my colleagues told me the story. That morning, I came to work as usual. We were in the report room sharing jokes, laughter, when suddenly I collapsed. I stopped breathing. My colleagues panicked. They called a code. The doctor on site rushed to my unit. He did his assessment and touched my eyeballs. I wasn't blinking. My eyes were wide open and I was not blinking. I was unresponsive, no breath in me. Now, I worked in a mental health facility. We don't deal with emergencies like this, so my co-workers did the only thing they could do. They called 911. I was rushed to the small emergency hospital in our town. They intubated me and called the air ambulance to fly me to the city. But then something happened. That same air ambulance on its way to me was redirected to an accident victim, someone they thought had a better chance at survival. I was left waiting for another air ambulance. Meanwhile, back at home, my children were expecting me, as usual, to be back at 3:30, but I wasn't coming home. At work, my colleagues were scrambling. How would they inform my husband, who was far away, who would go to my children, stay with them, and tell them something? Anything that would not break their hearts and would actually keep them together until they can tell them something. Eventually, they were able to reach my husband. He dropped everything, got in the car, and began the long 9-hour drive home. On the way, he was also calling my family back in Nigeria to break the news to them. One of my co-workers, someone my children trusted, went to the house. She gave them a gentler version of the truth, just enough to hold them until more was known. When I finally arrived at the hospital in the city, doctors ran every test and scans, and the results were terrifying. They said I had 2 brain aneurysms. One had already ruptured and flooding my brain with blood. By the time my husband arrived 9 hours later, the doctors didn't have much hope to give. They told him my chances of survival were very slim. My Glasgow Coma scale was 4. For those unfamiliar with the Glasgow Coma scale, a person's level of consciousness is measured by this scale after a brain injury. A score of 15 means you're fully awake and alert. A score of 3 means deep coma or even brain death. I was a 4. That means I was unresponsive, barely clinging to life, completely dependent on machines. The doctors explained that even if I survived the surgery, I might never wake up again. Or if I did, I might not recognize my own family. Imagine my husband standing there with this impossible choice, not knowing what to do. He called my brother Yemi. Yemi's answer was firm. He just said, "Do the surgery." So my husband gave the go-ahead. Papers were signed. The surgery was planned. He left the hospital that night, believing they would operate right away. But when he returned the next morning, he was told the surgery had not been done. And worse, the previous day when the doctors pressed my foot, I had shown a tiny response. But that morning, there was nothing, no movement, no sign of life. It meant my condition had gotten worse. And that's where I will pause today. Join me in my next video, where I'll share what happened next, how the fight for my life unfolded. Until then, subscribe so you don't miss it. Bye.